Listen!
Okay.
Alright.
Okay. So we are doing the Wonderwall thing though?
Yes, guys.
guitar solo is gonna look like. Okay. No, but I just like want to walk you.
I'll start off. I'm not gonna sing out. And we'll all start and we start to get in. And then we'll stop and we'll be like, what are we doing?
What did we do?
Did we forget the PBIS rules?
Oh my god, how could we ever? Dude, we need to get Jacob. No, yeah, for the baby one, we can get Jacob to come and just glad and be like, wait. What are you doing? Then we insert the clip of it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god!
Hey, guys. Try to maintain safety next time. Maintain your personal boundaries.
My bad.
Really got hurt.
Sorry.
Hello? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call.
Why don't we try using positive sportsmanship and kind words? Go Blue Streets.
Hi, my name is what? My name is my name is his name is
You got it,
Hey, guys. In all settings in Madison, we try to follow PBIS rules. And you're breaking responsibility and making positive choices in your decision making. Not only is it going against PBIS, it's also bad for your health.
He's right.
Don't dig it.
Hey, break it up. Zach, you gotta use your effort, use a positive approach in your words and actions. And you guys over there videotaping. Teamwork. Stand strong for all others.
Thanks, man.
Come on, guys.
Wait.
Hey, guys, come on. Hey, follow PBIS regulations in the class. Be prepared to learn and always respect others that are trying to learn. Come on.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Never meant to.
Guys, we have to follow PBIS rules. Go clean up the lunch space and make this a better environment.
You give them the case and place to say, I want something else.
Today's gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you.
By now you should somehow realize what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the words on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you've never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
Hey guys, hey. You're in the cyber cafe. You gotta respect those studying quietly.
Mr. Gilligan,
Yes.
who's your PBIS shout out?
Jake Glory.
Mr. Tittman, who's your PBIS shout out?
Mason Johnson.
Mrs. Nicole, do you have a PBIS student shout out?
I do. The student Corinne. Up here, man.
Mr. Martin,
Yeah.
who's your PBIS student shout out?
JD Galvic.
Your PBIS shout out.
I'm shouting out
Logan Bosman.
Mr. Manello, who's your PBIS shout out?
Brandon Rockwood.
Wags, who's your student shout out?
Julia!
Thank
Mrs. Wasilic, who's your PBIS shout out?
Mrs. Culinari, who's your PBIS student shout out?
Lauren Ludwig.
Mr. Savan, who's your PBIS shout out?
PBIS shout out is to Ryan Amos.
Hola.
Hi, Mrs. Edwards, who's your PBIS shout out?
Sarah Stanger.
Hola. Hola. Who's your PBIS student shout out?
Calissa Cherokee.
Mr. Austin, Mr. Riley, who's your guys' PBIS shout out?
Kellen Ray.
My shout out is Jeremy Adkins. Jeremy, you're the man.
Mrs. Crago, Mrs. Myrata, who are your guys' PBIS shout out?
My PBIS shout out is to Maddie Mullen. Woo! Mine is to Logan Carter.
Mrs. Nunn, who's your PBIS student shout out?
Oh, I'd like to give a shout out to Josh Hamill.
Mr. Janiak, who's your PBIS shout out?
My PBIS shout out is Zach Waterman. Thanks for all the interesting conversations, guys.
Who's your PBIS student shout out?
My PBIS student shout out is Amelia Marlowe.
Shout out.
Everyone deserves a shout out.
Mr. Clark, who's your PBIS shout out?
Kirsten Rice.
Mrs. Hickman, who's your student shout out?
Aiden Benton.
Wait, are you?
Yep.
I guess my PBIS student shout out would have to be to Nathan Hearn.
Mr. Eckstein, who's your PBIS student shout out?
Just taking a picture.
I'm recording.
I give a PBIS shout out to Emily DeDays for being an excellent aide and also an excellent student in class.
Mrs. Grow, who's your PBIS student shout out?
Michaela Childs.
Awesome.
Thank you. There we go. KP, who's your PBIS student shout out?
Ellie Snyder.
Mrs. Vaca, who's your PBIS student shout out?
Sam McLaren for being so excited about all my great assignments in senior English and having such a positive attitude.
Mrs. Laurie, who's your PBIS student shout out?
My PBS student shout out is Megan Pinson. She's a freshman.
Tommaso, who's your PBIS student shout out? Mr. Head, who's your PBIS student shout out?
CJ.
Thank you so much. Mr. Dragus, who's your PBIS student shout out?
What's PBIS?
Who's your best student?
Like my favorite student in class?
No, people who do good, Mr. Dragus.
Good kid who's doing good?
Yeah.
Gosh, it's Josh Garcia Hernandez.
Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Clark, who's your PBIS student shout out?
Abigail Swift.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Whiteman,
Hey.
who's your student PBIS shout out?
Who's the student that emulates PBIS the most? Mrs. Kemper, who's your PBIS student shout out?
Taylor Weathers.
Mrs. Olson, who's your PBIS shout out?
Shout out to Rachel Rickowski.
Thank you so much. Mr. Butler, who's your PBIS student shout out?
Adam Gerson.
All right, thank you so much.